from Ireland, Walter McGowan of Scotland, Alan Rudkin, another Merseysider, and two big-name Australians, Lionel Rose and Jimmy Carruthers, who both went on to become world champions at this weight. In fact, many would say Lionel Rose was Australia's best ever. Nathan Sting is the latest Australian then to be challenging for this title. In the maroon and blue shorts, Paul Livewire Lloyd, as he calls himself, looking to take what could be his last big chance to get into the boxing big time. Sting, a southpaw, we've already seen he's got a good insistent jab. He said last time he came here and was beaten against Neil Swain, he froze that night, he just wasn't himself. Was that an excuse, or is he going to be much improved tonight? Good right to the body there from Lloyd, his best shot in the early stages. Sting's busy though, Glenn.
He is just the busier at this point. Lloyd just looking as if he's loading up, just thinking about his punches a little more than Sting. He's got to get them off, but he's got to get them off nice and sharp.
Nice work behind that southpaw lead from Nathan Sting. Only the second time he's been outside of Australia. A long trip, but he's prepared thoroughly and intends to make that long journey home with the belt in his suitcase. Lloyd, though, is equally determined to take his opportunity. It could be a terrific fight.
Well, it certainly started very fast. Both fighters landing with decent punches. I think Sting just getting off the quicker with that southpaw jab.
Lloyd with big support, particularly up on the balcony here at this Lewisham theatre. Just being outworked in this opening round by Sting, who gets him with another good sharp-looking right hand there as well. A cleaner, snappier work from the Australian.
Well, there's certainly no feeling out here. Both men want this title very badly, and they're getting straight at it.
Good right hands, two of them now from Lloyd. And the first one just made Sting blink a wee bit. Quite a close look at him from our ringside position here. And I think one of them just shook him a wee bit. And then again that right hand. That's worked well for Lloyd in this last minute or so. All action beginning here. Carries on like this. This could be something special.
And Lloyd just picking his punches the better at the end of this round and getting through cleaner punches.
Lloyd's got a pretty decent dig in either hand. He's not what you'd call a big puncher. But he's got through with a few in this opening round. Another big right hand there, but then Sting comes back with it again. And John Coyle hasn't had to step in at all. Absolutely terrific stuff. Fast, frenetic action, high skills on view, excellent contest. Welcome back. We're just off the South Circular Road in London at the Lewisham Theatre tonight. Live boxing for the Commonwealth Bantamweight crown, and a terrific start between Nathan Sting in the maroon trunks and Ellesmere Port fighter Paul Lloyd, who came back well towards the end of the round, Glenn.
He did. I think Sting started the better. Lloyd came back. An even round. Tremendous work rate from both fighters.
The computer says Sting landed more in the opening round, though it would have been pretty hard, I think, to keep up with it, quite honestly. Anybody actually registering those punches into the computer. Couldn't have been a lot in it. Maybe Sting just took that opening round. But I think he just shook Sting a couple of times with those right hands, Paul Lloyd. There were grounds for optimism for him there. Good body shots from him again there. Just losing his balance momentarily there, Lloyd. Don't think it was a punch that did it. Hard to see, really. What did you think there, Glenn?
It seemed a little bit of a delayed reaction. He seemed to get caught with a decent right hand. Certainly, I think Sting feels he's hurt him because he's really piling the pressure on now.
That was a strange one. Lloyd's legs seemed to just betray him for a split second. But they surely can't keep up this frenetic pace.
Good boy, Sting. Good boy on the target.
Oh, caught again. He just fights with his face a wee bit. This Nathan Sting, his gloves going down low, and he really does want to tear up there, almost inviting Lloyd in.
And again, Lloyd finishing the round the better with a good beginning of the round, Sting. But this is a tremendous pace and good action here from Lloyd.
Lloyd's getting through with some significant, meaty-looking headshots now in this second round, and Sting seems to have almost completely abandoned defence.
Well, Sting claims he's never been on the floor, but he doesn't really want to stand there and take punches like this for too long.
He's having to take a lot, and Lloyd's getting on top in this second round. This man claims never to have been down, either amateur or pro, this Australian. Well, the corner must be screaming at him to get the gloves up a wee bit more. He tries momentarily to do that. He's looking very wild himself. And Lloyd is getting closer and closer, mixing up shots to head and body, and Sting cannot carry on taking these.
No, he's had to take far too many punches. He's got to get some movement in his legs, get off them ropes, and start using that southpaw jab again.
Well, this surely cannot go 12 rounds like this, can it, Glenn?
Well, you think the pace has got to drop. A fantastic start to a fight. Good work from both men, but the better work in this round from Lloyd.
Now, this is Lloyd's round in a big way so far. He's landed nearly all the significant blows. Looks much more controlled, picking his punches better. Those shots to the ribcage look damaging as well. Breathing heavier now is Nathan Sting. Great round for Paul Lloyd. He really did look a live wire there. Terrific fight going on here in Lewisham for the Commonwealth Bantamweight crown. And the British boxer Paul Lloyd, with Dean Powell shouting at him there in the corner, had a superb second round.
He really did. He pinned Sting on the corner. Look at the body shots going in. He was picking the punch, and I think this took a lot out of Sting, mixing the head and body. Look at that, 21-5 on the body shots.
Third round, white trunks of Paul Lloyd from Ellesmere Port, looking to grab this belated and possibly last chance to become a champion. He was floored 4 times when he fought Richie Wenton for the British Super Bantamweight title in a Merseyside derby. That all went wrong. Tonight he hopes it all goes right for him.
Well, Sting got to get his boxing going again. That's what he's trying to do here, trying to get back on the southpaw jab and just try and pick Lloyd off. But Lloyd, good pressure from him.
Looks as if Lloyd carries the heavier whack of the two. He's certainly having more effect when he lands. I've noticed Sting just blinking a few times as these punches have rammed home, particularly the right hand. And his gloves are just a wee bit low. His head is an open target every time.
Well, Lloyd doing the right thing. He's not exerting himself too much. Coming forward, hands up nice and tight, trying to pick his punches.
The action just slowing a little. It had to, really. Ooh, big right hand through the middle from Lloyd. And then a body shot as well. That hurt Sting, who wants to cover up and buy a bit of time, waiting for his head to clear. I think the right hand had a big effect. This is a resilient little brawler, this Nathan Sting. But he seems to have abandoned the southpaw jab, or rather, Lloyd has not let it come into play. It's just developed into a toe-to-toe exchange.
Yes, I think the good body punches that are coming from Lloyd is stopping Sting using the jab as much because he's been caught with a body punch when he sticks his right arm out.
Just looking at Lloyd's left eye, I think there's just a little mark underneath there, and he's caught with a right hand there. But his body shots, I think, will definitely slow Sting down. Really can weaken a fighter and knock it out of him. That's a big left hand from Sting, who's doing better in this third round.
Yes, more the work rate has come from Lloyd, but Sting just finishing the round with some decent counters.
Well, there's been more action in this first 3 rounds than you see in 12 rounds of some contests. Well, it's a very good contest. Welcome back to Lewisham. 3 rounds gone, 9 to go. Whether it lasts 12 rounds for this Commonwealth Bantamweight crowd is very much open to question.
Good punches from Lloyd here. He just did a little bit more in that round than Sting, but Sting come back in the middle part with some good counters. Well, Lloyd's got to keep the pressure on, but he hasn't got to burn himself out.
Lloyd in the white trunks, remember, the British boxer, the Australian, or Tasmanian to be exact, Nathan Sting. Here's your scorecard, Glenn.
Yes, I got Lloyd just winning the last 2. The first one I give even, but certainly a very, very good fight thus far.
Lloyd, as you'd expect, looking very, very fired up. The man who does his training in the gym next to the Vauxhall car plant up there at Ellesmere Port. Got his own little cafe as well. And says he's done a lot of his training on baby food. He has a passion for that.
Sting just changing his tactics and getting a little bit of success. He's trying to now change it and push Lloyd on the back foot. And Lloyd not finding it as easy to get his punches off that way.
Good work again by Lloyd, the right hand, forcing Sting to give ground, and another one for good measure. Lloyd, to me, looks the heavier hitter of the 2.
Yes, his punches look as if they're taking more out of Sting. But I think he's got to try and keep the pressure on Sting. He can't let Sting get off with these counters. Just a nice constant pressure without using too much energy of his own, Lloyd.
Just looking a wee bit wild again, Sting, and caught by a sumptuous looking right hand from Lloyd. Sting at times looking defensively vulnerable and leaky. Again caught with left hands. Lloyd is in charge at the moment. Look at this from Sting. This man seems to have amazing strength and durability. Just when you think Lloyd has got him going, he kind of gathers himself and comes back again.
But again, Lloyd landing with 2 good punches. And Sting very much the one that's under fire here.
I tell you what, Glenn, this has the makings of being a monumental contest.
Yes, it is a wonderful fight, but both fighters taking a few shots, and there's Sting notably taking a lot more, and you wonder how long these fighters can keep taking and throwing punches like this.
Remember, too, that Lloyd has never been beyond 6 rounds before. Gets through with the right hand again there. He's landed with the significant punches in this round as well. Body shot, crashed home, right hand, and another one, and Sting has done very well to stay on his feet.
7 live football matches in just 4 days on Sky Sports this coming weekend, starting Friday at 7 on Sky Sports. Sky Sports 3, Norwich City against Ipswich Town, big local derby, but here, this fight thrillingly poised.
Thank you, Paul. Ian Dark and Glenn McCrory with you at ringside as Paul Lloyd looks to lift the Commonwealth title. The Ellesmere Port fighter in the white trunks here against this Tasmanian Nathan Sting. 23 years of age, Sting, 27, Lloyd. Lloyd has had his problems with cuts in the past. There looks to be just a little bit of damage, nothing much to worry about so far by the left hand, but in a contest of this nature, you do wonder whether that too might become a factor. But he's hit Sting with so many punches already, and the Tasmanian is still there in front of him.
Yes, and you just wonder about how Lloyd's going to handle it with his lack of experience in the later rounds. He hasn't gone beyond 6 rounds, and that could be very important later on in this fight.
He's just looking a bit outgunned at this stage, Sting. He's breathing more heavily, and I wonder whether Lloyd is on the verge of the big breakthrough in the fight. The thing is, we do have to take Lloyd's own stamina on trust as well.
That's right, I'm sure he's working long and hard for this fight. And again, good punches, keeping Sting on the rope, and Sting having to soak up a lot of blows there.
Looking troubled as well, Sting now. He's lost that cocky, bouncy way he had with him when he came in the ring. He's now trying to keep Lloyd away using the jab, which worked well for him in the opening minute and a half of the contest. We've seen very little of it since then.
Well, Sting has been drawn into a battle, and that's where he's elected to stay, or certainly Lloyd's elected to keep him there.
Been an excellent performance so far, this by Lloyd. He's switched the attack sensibly from head to body. He's picked his punches. He's looked far more controlled. And he's hitting harder. Blood around the mouth now of Sting. His mouth gapes open. Well, he's never been floored, but he looks to me like a fighter who might be on the verge of getting stopped, Nathan Sting.
Yes, he's taking an awful lot of punches, constantly on the retreat, and his head being rocked about from time to time. This is real good work from poor Lloyd. He's just got to keep the hands up, keep Sting busy with these punches, and don't get too relaxed himself, Ian.
Sorry, Glenn, I was just about to say that Lloyd looks in such control of things at the moment that really he only has to play it sensibly, you'd feel, though there may be twists in the plot. Welcome back. Let's have a look at the punches thrown so far. Lloyd has landed 243, Sting's landed 164, and what's that? Nearly 900 punches thrown in the contest already.
Well, I believe that. Tremendous action here in this fight.
And this is the 6th round. Paul Lloyd in the white trunks from Ellesmere Port in Cheshire. He's done very, very well so far, but he mustn't let this Tasmanian back into the contest.
No, he's really got himself into a good rhythm with his fighting here, Lloyd. He's got to keep that rhythm going. Keep throwing lots of punches and keep mixing the body and head. I think the body punches have served him so well in this fight. They've kept Sting busy, and they've obviously heard him, and they've stopped him using that jab.
I think from Sting's point of view at this stage, it's really a question of hanging on in there, getting through somehow, and hoping he gets a second win, and that maybe Lloyd starts a fade a bit from about the 6th round on, or hope maybe that Lloyd's had a little bit of trouble weight making. But he could be clutching at straws. Cut. There's a bad cut by the left eye of Nathan Sting. Blood pouring from that. And that spurred him. Left eye of Nathan Sting is cut. And there's some blood too around the face of Lloyd. I don't know whether there was a clash of heads in there, but the worst damage is definitely to Sting's eye.
Yes, Sting tried to pick the pace up there, but Lloyd kept his head well, just waiting his time.
We think it was a clash of heads as Sting gets in with the left hook. He's really going for it here, the Tasmanian. This is danger signs for Lloyd here. Sting suddenly moves through the gears, but is it one last desperate effort from him? Well, this is amazing stuff already here. There's a timeout. John Coyle wants the blood wiped away from the eyes of Sting. He's taking a close look at that damage as well. Denny Mancini's one of the best cut men around. And it's over. Paul Lloyd has won. Cuts in the end with a decisive factor, but Paul Lloyd won't mind about that because he was in charge anyway. And he is the Commonwealth Bantamweight champion. Celebrations. He said that he would go home with the belt tonight, and he was right. And that sparked some joyous scenes among the supporters who've made the long journey down to Lewisham.
Yes, John Coyle, a good referee, decided it was time to call off. A bad cut there. And Sting was under a lot of pressure. He was getting hit with a lot of shots. I think that was a very good decision to call it off there. But a terrific performance from Paul Lloyd. I think we may just see the head clash. Yes, there it was, a definite clash of heads. And unfortunately, Sting came off at the worst, but I think nothing can be taken away from the performance of Paul Lloyd. Really good workman-like performance.
Yes, he really bossed the contest, really, after the opening round. And Nathan Sting, on his second visit to Britain, is beaten just as he was on the first. He's got a cut himself, as you can see, Lloyd, by the forehead, but that is not going to give him a moment's pain. It will all be submerged by the sheer joy of being a champion. He was an ABA champion back in 1990. Had some good wins as an amateur. He was a reserve for the Olympic Games, boxed in European Championships, won multi-nations. But tonight, he's won his first professional title. It was a pretty bad cut by the look of it that Nathan Sting
Yes, it was a bad cut. It is always unfortunate when a fighter gets caught with a clash of heads, but I think you can't take anything away from Paul Lloyd's performance. Good professional performance. He wanted this very badly. He kept the pressure on throughout, and a wonderful performance. I'm very happy for him. Obviously, the fans are as well.
It's going to be a happy journey back up the motorway for them, and who knows, Paul Lloyd may now be thinking in terms of even getting a world title shot at Robbie Regan, the WBO champion from Wales. Who knows?
Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute and 59 seconds of round 6. Referee John Coyle stops the contest with Sting sustaining a cut. The winner and the new Bantamweight champion of the Commonwealth, Paul Lloyd. And to present the championship belt, the supervisor, Mr. Ray Clark, OBE.
Ray Clark puts the belt around the waist of Paul Lloyd, and this is a moment he will remember as long as he lives. And what a handsome belt that is, too. Defend it as much as you can, Ray Clark is telling him.
Always very nice to see how happy he is when he wins his first major professional title. But very, he worked so hard for that. You could tell he wanted it really bad. And Sting started well, but Lloyd got on top and didn't let him back in the fight.
Well, it's been a happy move over to the Frank Maloney camp for Paul Lloyd. In his first fight, he becomes Commonwealth champion. That'll delight Frank Maloney. I'm going to try and grab a word with him. Briefly, back to you, Paul, for a moment.
Thanks, Ian. Well, superb effort, wasn't it, tonight, Barry?
Yeah, absolutely wonderful performance. I thought he boxed brilliantly. He obviously took his weight down slowly. He was very strong. He was very purposeful. He won 5 of the 6 rounds, and his body punching was absolutely fabulous.
Thanks, Barry. More from Barry and Duke in a moment, but let's get a word with the winner, with Ian.
Well, congratulations, Paul. That must be the moment of your boxing life, I guess.
Oh, it was great, incredible. I trained really, really hard for the fight. I knew I was up against a tough kid. Obviously, coming down in weight, both of us coming down from Super Bantam. So I knew it was going to be, you know, whoever wanted it more, basically. You know, he's a fit lad. He's got 12 rounds many a time, and 10 rounds on a few occasions. And myself, I haven't gone past 6 rounds. But as you can see there, no one's going to live with me at that pace. That's my pace. That's the way I train, and that's the way I fight.
Is that certainly the best performance of your career tonight?
I wouldn't exactly say it was the best performance. It's obviously my most memorable performance. I have boxed better, but you know what? The kid was a southpaw, which obviously I don't like anyway. But you know, he was when someone's there and you know the vulnerables are with, you know, like me, the style of fight, I'm going to hit them. I'm going to want to hit them. So you know, I ain't staying away from anybody. You know, if he's there to be hit, mate, I'm hitting him. I ain't dancing around no ring.
You've got that Commonwealth belt around your waist now. Just tell us, after so long in the fight game, how much it means to have that to take back to Ellesmere Port with you.
It means a great deal, obviously. I'm aware of my potential. Obviously, Dean's aware of my potential, and Frank, and everybody, you know, from my old stable, Munro Island Promotion, they're all aware of my ability. It was just a matter of, I think this is just the breaking point, actually getting the title belt. Obviously, people say once you're a champion, you know, you become a much more compact and better boxer. I strongly believe that that's going to be me. I believe this is just the beginning and the making of Paul Lloyd.
How do you fancy now maybe getting a crack at Robbie Regan? Because there's already a few of your fans talking and starting banging the drum for that fight.
Listen, mate, no problems. They'll want me to fight Mike Tyson. They'll stick me in with anyone, these fellas. As long as it's a night out for them, they're happy.
Don't give Don King ideas.
No. And obviously, I mean, if Robbie Regan's there, obviously he wants one fight at a time. His first priority is through Doxley at the moment. Obviously, with Frank and Dean behind me, you know, who knows, maybe a couple of nice defences. And yeah, obviously that's the pinnacle of my career. Obviously I want to box for the world title. But, you know, whoever's there, obviously, to me, and as Frank will understand, boxing's all about, you know, cashing in on the financial side of things. And whatever the best deal is for me, that's it.
Well done tonight. Brilliant night for you. And enjoy the celebrations in that cafe tomorrow.
Thank you.
Cheers.